Algebra students, Mr. Lawrence here, and we're going to review a little more about graphing linear equations, trying to put all the things together we've been doing. All right, let's see here. We know two types. We know y equals mx plus b, which is our slope-intercept form. You may call it slope y-intercept if you like. Slope y-intercept form. The official name is slope-intercept, but it's finding the y-intercept. It tells us the slope and the y-intercept, hence the name. And then, of course, we have standard form. Remember, that's ax plus by equals c, where a is greater than 0, right? Now, when we're in these forms, we know certain things, okay? Oh, first, in the slope-intercept, y must be alone. Okay, now, the slope in the slope-intercept form is just m, the coefficient on x, the rise over the run. Slope of standard form can be found by taking the coefficient of a, the negative of the coefficient of a, and putting it over b. All right, slope-intercept form tells us the y-intercept. It's located at the point 0b. And standard form tells us the x-intercept is c divided by a, 0. And the y-intercept is 0, c divided by b. All right, so let's put these into practice. Now, I would love for you to go ahead and do them on your own instead of just sitting here passively watching the video. And I'm going to show you how to do them on the graphing calculator, and we'll get some practice with that in class. All right, first off, we've got this 3y equals negative 4x plus 6. What form is it in? Well, it's not in any form. It is a linear equation, but it is not in any form. You have two choices here. You could convert this to standard form, which would be pretty easy to do, or you can go slope-intercept form. All right, on this one, I'm going to go slope-intercept form. I want you all to do it slope-intercept way, but we could do it by standard form. All right, so slope-intercept form, I need y to be alone, so I'm going to divide by 3. Remember that when you divide by 3, break it up. Break it up. You got to do it to all three terms. Don't just do one big fraction there. You'll make mistakes. All right, so I'll get y, and that'll equal negative 4/3 x, and that'll be 2. And you may be wondering, why did I write it as negative 4/3 x instead of negative 4x over 3? They're the same number. This one, it just makes more sense to me what the slope is. So I'm going to find my y-intercept, which I believe will be the point 0,2. And then my slope will be negative 4/3. Now this is very important, very important. Only one of these is negative. If both the 4 and the 3 were negative, the negatives would cancel out, and I would have a positive slope. All right? Okay, so only one of them is negative. So I have 0, negative 2, I think I said. No, 0, positive 2, right there. And then my slope, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and write 1, 2, 3. If I wanted to, I could make the 4 positive and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 3 negative, 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't know if you've noticed it yet. Negative lines with negative slopes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. They look a little bit different than lines with positive slopes. See if you can tell me on Monday why. All right, hold on a second here. Got to go on that diet. Let's change the color and give them an arrowhead. And notice I have my x-axis, my y-axis, and my origin labeled. And I'm also going to label one other point, usually the y-intercept, because it's easiest. All right, there we go. All right, now I'm going to go to the graphing calculator. So I get my graphing calculator out. If you have one, go ahead and do this. You need to press the y equals button. Okay. Now, the calculator can only graph linear equations when they're in slope-intercept form. Good thing this one's in slope-intercept form. If it wasn't in slope-intercept form, I'd have to convert it. It cannot graph from standard form. Okay, so I think my equation was y sub 1. It's just the first y. Okay, it's going to equal, and I'm going to go parentheses here, negative 4/3, and then x, see the x button? Okay, plus 2, and then I'm going to hit the graph button, which is right here. And look at that. Bam. Drawing my line for me. Now it doesn't show the arrowheads, but that's okay. All right. Now, if you look here, we can hit trace, and you see I'm sitting right there at the point 0.02, or I guess I could do it here. Let me make this bigger. Okay, there we go. That's nice and big. So you see I hit trace, and it took me to the y-intercept. Look, it says x equals 0, y equals 2. I can move to another point on the line. For example, 3. Let's go where x is 3. Sorry about that. Got to turn my email off so that doesn't happen. All right, so let's go where x is 3. All I have to do after I've hit the trace button, press 3, and notice x equals 3 pops up, and I'll hit enter, and there we go. I'm at the point 3, negative 2. Hey, let's go back and check my hand-drawn graph and see when x is 1, 2, 3, y is 1, 2, negative 2. There it is. 3, negative 2 is on the graph. Now this can also, I don't know if you see right here, it's a table. I believe I can go like this, and I get a table of x values and y values. So x is 0, y is 2. X is 3, y is negative 2. Okay, now 0.6 repeating. Well, that'd really be 2/3, wouldn't it? 2, it's negative 2/3, and then negative 3 1/3, because that 3 is going to go on forever. The calculator can't show it, but I'm smart enough to realize, hey, that's a fraction there. That's a repeating decimal. All right, that's how we graph. So let's go to number 2. And number 2 I'm going to do into standard form. Now I want it to be ax plus by equals c. So in other words, I want the x term and y term on the same side of the equation. Well, it looks to me like the y term's in the wrong place. It's on the right-hand side of the equation. I want it on the left, so I'm going to subtract 3y from both sides. All right, 2x minus 3y, and that's going to equal negative 12. All right, so now it's time for ABC. Easy as 2, negative 3, 12. And I can find the slope, the x-intercept, and the y-intercept, but I only need 2 of those to actually graph. The 2 intercepts would work, one of the intercepts and the slope would work. I'll find all 3, but I'm only going to use 2 to graph. So let's go finding the slope first of all. The slope is going to be negative 2 over negative 3, which is the same as positive 2/3, right? The 2 negatives cancel out. So my slope is 2/3. My x-intercept is going to be 12, negative 12 over 2, 0, which is better said as negative 6, 0. So the x-intercept is negative 6, 0. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that, negative 6, 0. So let's see, 9, 8, 7, 6 right there. And then my slope was 2/3. So I'm going to rise and run 2/3. Stop moving, please. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hey, I'll bet you can tell me the y-intercept now without doing any math. I'm still going to do the math to make sure I'm right, but I'll bet you can tell me what it is. Okay. Let me go on my diet here. And let's see. And I got to label at least 1 point, so I'll label negative 6, 0. And it looks like the y-intercept is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 4. Let's go back and do the math and just make sure it works out. All right, so the y-intercept is going to be 0. And then c is negative 12. Oops, c is negative 12. There's a mistake there. Sorry about that. Over negative 3, which is 0 over 4. And sure enough, that's what I said it would be. Now, I can't graph this in the graphing calculator. To graph it in the graphing calculator, I'd have to get it in slope-intercept form. So I might start from the original equation. Let's see here. Let me back it up. I need to get the y alone, and so I might add 12 to both sides, and then I'll have 2x plus 12, and that'll equal 3y, right? And then I'll divide by 3, and so I'm going to get y is equal to 2/3 x plus 4. And it doesn't matter, the y's on the right-hand side. If you want, you can rewrite it like this. You should know that. All right. So let's go to the graphing calculator. Oops, all right. All right. So y equals, I need to clear out this old equation. If I don't clear it out, it'll still be there. So I've got, what, 2/3 x plus 4. And I hit graph, and there we go. Oh, by the way, this table is still the old table. It should update in just a moment. It should change. Like 0's at 2. 0's not at 2 on this graph. All right, there it goes. It just updated. I don't know if you can tell. And I'll hit trace. And look, there's the y-intercept at 0, 4. If I wanted to put, say, x was -6, for that x-intercept, sure enough, it's -6, 0. If I wanted to find points in between, I could move along, right? So here, x is -3.18 repeating. I think that may be 3 2/11. I think so, if memory serves. And then y is going to be this, it looks like 1.87 repeating. I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but I could figure it out. All right, so there you go. Now let's do these two. I ask you to pause the video and you do it the way that you think it's easiest in this problem, all right? So here comes my solution. Hopefully you've already tried it. I'm going to go slope-intercept form on this one, and I'm going to get y equals -2x minus 3. My y-intercept is at -3. My slope is -2, or -2/1. And so I go down to right 1, down to right 1, and I should get a nice pretty line up to back 1. There we go. And I'm just going to stick an arrowhead on the end of him and label 0 and -3, just to keep the video a little bit shorter. All right, this one here, I would love for you to go standard form on it. Try it on your own. If you haven't tried it, please pause the video and try it. All right, I want the ax, which is the 2x term, on the left-hand side. So I'm going to subtract 2x. But when I do that, I'm not in standard form because the a term is negative. So I'm going to divide by -1. When I divide by -1, I'm going to end up with a 2x minus a 6y equals a -6. All right, so I do my A, B, C. And some of you can do A, B, and C in your head. That's awesome. I'm just trying to give those of you that are having a little bit of trouble a plan. So I think I'm going to find the y-intercept, which is going to be 0 and 1, because -6 divided by 6. I'm going to plot the y-intercept. Y-intercept is going to be 0, 1. Oop, yikes. All right, going to be right there, and that'll be 0, 1. And then my slope is going to be -2 over -6, which is better said as 1/3. All right, so I'm going to rise 1, run 1, 2, 3. Looks like it's going to go right through that point. All right. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Maybe I'll see if I can move the coordinates out of the way. Oops, and move the whole point. Well, that's okay. I will graph that point again. All right, and I'm ready to draw my line. Ready to draw my line. So we have multiple techniques for graphing a linear equation. We can do it from standard form, and we can do it from slope-intercept form. All right. And there we go. That's it for the video. Have a great weekend, everybody.